We understand in the press and in a lot of the hardcore gaming circles, it's cool and it's funny to say crazy things like Stadia's dead or Stadia's about to die. However, as we always tell you on this platform, their competitors don't believe that. And here's another case of simply that. See as wow, Microsoft developer praises Stadia and refers to the platform as concrete reality in the future of gaming. It's SDO Daily, baby. Let's get into this one.
Not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the SDO Daily. Unless something crazy has happened or you're in a completely crazy time zone, we want to thank you for enjoying this episode, and a rise and shine episode, that is, because this is going to be one that's going to be good for the soul, you know, and help bring some to reality. With that said, before we get too deep into all that, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, rock those bells for notifications, please, so you know when we drop in these doses. We appreciate all of y'all straight up. Y'all know the deal, y'all know the reason, and y'all know the slogan. We are not too proud to ask. Also, as a reminder, these SDO dailies go out as live premieres. So if you happen to watch this live and you want to support the platform or give us a question that you want us to address at a later time, feel free to do that by hitting that super chat button and leaving that question there. We check all of these. We look out for all of the super chats and all the support. So definitely, if you leave one during the SDO daily, we will address it at a later time. With that being said, let's get into it. All right. So, we get it that when SG&E, the Stadia first party studio effort, was announced to have been cut, it was like an oh-ish moment, right? It was for everybody. Because it made you wonder, out of nowhere, they were getting great press from Cyberpunk. You had people like Forbes say that this was the future of gaming. You even had gamer ranks that said, look, this platform is so much better than when I originally tried it. I mean, everything was going uphill for Stadia. Then they announced the closure of the SG&E, which in hindsight makes sense to a lot of us now, but it didn't make sense on the way they pronounced it. They really messed that up. They really bungled that. And we talked about that for days upon days upon days end. That being said, even though they messed that up, people mess up all the time. Xbox messed up. If you don't believe me, look at Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. That book walks you through the fact that Xbox lost $7 billion its first generation, and then $3 billion with its most commercially appealing Xbox to 360. You know what I'm saying? So even ones that right now are in a more comfortable spot, they've had to learn the hard way, and it took them some time. Stadia at the time of this recording is only like 15 months old. But as we always tell you, we get that there's the puns out there. Stadia's gonna die, it's dead, it won't make it past February of next year, all that stuff. We get how that's cute, or that may be comfortable for some, that may be frustrated. We understand the root of all this. However, it's always great to look at things from 5,000 feet, because when you look at things from totality and just don't shoehorn yourself into a belief system without letting the facts control your belief system, then things like this, which I'm about to share, shouldn't be surprising, or you're not going to cap for it and try to twist the reality of it. Because the fact of the matter is, regardless of what you think, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what I think. Reality matters. And as far as reality is concerned, Microsoft and everybody else are in a better place of knowing than us, and they feel like Stadia is going to be here for a while. So I listen to the experts. Phil Spencer has spouted out about so, and now we got somebody from id Software, a Mr. Stratton, who is now owned by Microsoft via ZeniMax and the ZeniMax purchase. Out here, like we said on the bumper, he's saying that Stadia is a concrete reality in the future of gaming. Let's get right to it. You know how we do. Let me show you something. So shout out to the homie Rivy Dale. Rivy, if you're listening to this video, thank you so much for putting this out here in full light. I will showcase it regardless of who else does or doesn't. And if you find future stuff like this, man, hey, look, beggars can't be choosy. You can add me into the chain too, my friend. But this is an interview that id Software did with an Italian publication, and our good friend Rivy Dale pointed out some highlights out of that. id Software sees Stadia and cloud games as a part of the future of games. That's the actual title of the article when translated. He also points out that note, he says that he is saddened by the person from id Software, is saddened by the people who lost their jobs and closing in the in-house studio, but he is happy that Google continues its partnerships with other studios. This is a direct quote from the interview. Stratton says, as far as Stadia, I am convinced that we are still only scratching the surface of the future of video games. For me, streaming will be a fundamental method of distributing titles in the coming years. New technologies will always take some time before they can be fully established, but there is nothing in what Stadia or xCloud are doing that will prevent them from becoming a concrete reality sooner or later. Okay, so let's go to the actual publication. While we're going there, let me say this. Now, this interview right here, id Software sees Stadia and cloud gaming as a part of the future of video games, is derived from a full-length interview that the same publication, Multiplayer It, did with id Software over the Ancient Gods Part 2. You know what I'm saying? That was releasing on multiple platforms that support Doom Eternal, right? So just so you guys and gals see that we didn't just pull this out of our caboose. The title again reads, id Software sees Stadia and cloud gaming as a part of the future. Let me read you the full interview. For Martin Stratton of id Software, the executive producer of Doom Eternal, The Ancient Gods Part 2, cloud gaming is part of the future of the world of video games despite the problems of Stadia in recent weeks. Stratton talked about the topic in an interview during a presentation of the new Doom Eternal expansion. Quote, we already read the quote about, as far as I'm convinced that they're still only scratching the surface of the future of video games. He also continues to say, if you pass me the comparison, it's like a self-driving car. It is clearly that there's still not something for everyone, nor can it be said that it will work perfectly, but if you stop and think about the future, they will certainly be there. Autonomous driving cars, or in any case, it is more likely that there is this type of machine than the fact that there is not. Here, if we refer to streaming and video games, I think the same way. It's just about maturing technology. Absolutely. Jack Buser several months ago said this. He said it's going to take years for the apex of Stadia to be recognized. And that's with all cloud gaming services. So if they know this, then they know that this is something they got to keep churning at for a few years. Okay. Now, Stratton, who has no connection as far as ownership or loyalty, necessity to Stadia, Google whatsoever, it's in his parent company, Microsoft's best interest, that they don't even say anything positive about them. So there's no tie or no necessity for him to do this whatsoever. But Stratton wanted to talk specifically about Stadia, the platform on which Doom Eternal is available, on which the new expansion will be released. Clearly, I'm very sorry for all the people who worked on Stadia or on the internal teams, but I'm glad that Google chose to keep the platform up and running. We were really happy to be working with the Stadia team, and I believe Doom is a great example of the potential of the technology. And to sort of reference to the acquisition of Microsoft, they too are doing exceptional things with xCloud, so we look forward to working on it. The part that really stuck out to me is I'm very sorry for all the people who worked on Stadia or the internal teams, but I'm glad that Google chose to keep the platform up and running. You combine that, again, with Shannon Studstill, the miraculous studio head that was temporarily head of her own studio in La Vista, I believe it was. She's spoken out, and she said that, look, all that tech that we were working on with Stadia, it's not going to waste. Not only is it going to be implemented in games in all likelihood for Google, but it's likely going to be used in other areas for Google as well. So we did not work on any waste. Okay? So if you culminate all this, you may have a situation where some of the more loftier things that they wanted to do for their self-development purposes may not be earmarked at the moment. But for all intents and purposes, for the information that we have been given, Stadia is not going anywhere anytime soon, as it appears. Am I in the boardroom? Are you in the boardroom? Do we know with 100% certainty? No. But we don't know what any of these companies are going to do with 100% certainty. We don't. Unless you're in the boardroom, you don't have a clue. You can say company A may be more stable than company B, so their likelihood is greater, but nobody knows with 100% certainty. Okay? So, again, that's why it's mind-boggling in many ways for a lot of us. When a company that up until today in GFN announcing its roadmap really gave you the clearest roadmap for 2021, new games still announced for later in the year, new partnerships being announced, Shannon Studd still coming out of the woodwork. We had Catherine Aside come out the woodwork earlier. You know what I'm saying? And now this. You may not like the direction of the product. That's one discussion, but that's completely different from the company working long term to build something with this platform at a retail level. That's a different discussion. And here goes another piece of evidence that, again, that keeps mounting, that adds to that. So, again, why I've personally had to unplug from social media and some of the more outer regions of talk to focus in on the evidence and to stay within that fathomable scope. Here goes another piece to help in that effort. And with that said, that's it from your boy Mem2K. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, because like I always say, who cares what I think? But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below to follow me. Those links will lead you to the Broadband Bullies, PNTS Network, Hard Knock Digital Culture, and yes, the Stadia Dosage. With all that said, appreciate all of y'all. You have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.